Hey, welcome back to Wyoming Family Adventures. And we're still in the shop this episode. So in this episode we are going to install some crash bars onto Cody's bike. These are Outback Motortek crash bars. This is what we determined the best we could find at the time. For these, the only outfit I could find that actually did some serious testing on their unit. And you other manufacturers, if you're testing them as good as Outback Motortek, you better advertise that, because I saw nothing from anybody else. Not on crash bars.
But hey, Carl, before we install that, I'm getting a little hungry. What do we got planned for lunch today?
Hey, when you're short on time and you want something good, just throw a frozen steak on the grill, dude.
What do you mean by frozen steak? Should we go find out?
We'll just pull a frozen steak out of the freezer and throw it on the grill. Come on. So I pre-season my steaks when I buy them. So here we have a skirt steak that was seasoned, thrown in a vacuum seal bag and frozen. And so we just pull it out, throw it on the grill, and what you end up with is a steak that you can cook from frozen, end up with a nice crisp on the outside of it, and still end up medium rare to rare in the middle, which is how I like them. Yeah, nobody wants an overcooked steak. So here's our skirt steak. We've let it rest for just a couple minutes. It's a thin one, so it doesn't have to rest, you know, like a roast or something. But I'll just start cutting. Let's see. Nice. That's what I'm talking about right there. Nice crisp on the outside, nice medium rare to rare on the inside. Yeah. Right?
That's good.
So we warm up some tortillas, throw some of our leftover rice on there, just kind of as a little bit of a filler. Get our, you know, total carb fill, and then tap it with steak. Yeah,
Nice, rare, tasty steak.
Yeah, look at that. Roll that bad boy up.
People are going to tell you you rolled your burrito wrong.
Yeah. You roll yours, I'll roll mine. And there ain't nothing wrong with how that's going to taste, I'll tell you that. That's good.
So after just an amazing lunch of flank steak, rice, and some sauce, it's time to finally start installing the crash bars. But first, we got like 4 or so engine mount bolts that we got to work on. Carl, what do we got to do?
So you're going to take a 13mm socket. We're going to break all these 2 top engine mount bolts loose on both sides. We're not going to pull them out on both sides, but we are going to go one at a time and break those loose. And what you want to do is turn it out a bit. They're really stiff, and these threads aren't the cleanest on these, is what I found. So turn it out, turn it back in. It'll help kind of loosen those threads up and clean them up a little bit, and just kind of work them out that way. Go out,
and go out and go back in.
3 or 4 turns, you know, go back in, 2 or 3 turns, go back out,
and you do that
3 or 4 turns,
all 4 of them.
Yep.
And then
yeah, so this bolt right here, this top engine mount bolt,
this one, this one,
top engine mount bolt in front, and then again on the other side, same thing.
And then this one, and this one.
Yep. Don't pull them all the way out.
Don't.
And in fact, don't
undo them.
Don't undo all of them at once. Yeah, for sure. Just work them in and out so they turn a little bit anyway. They're going to be stiff. the threads are going to be a little bit rough.
Yeah.
So after you've worked all 4 of them several times, you can pick one side and loosen them up, leave the other side in. You don't want to drop your engine mount bolts on both sides, obviously. Should be obvious reasons for that, but you know, your motor is going to want to swing down.
And what Carl has also found installing on his Aprilia, that it's easiest to mount the middle bar that goes right across here first.
Yep.
And there's 2 bolts that go right there. And so we'll mount that one in the next clip, and you'll see how we do that.
Yeah, before we even finish taking these out on this side, we're going to do this side first, probably just because it's a little easier to access. You can do either side first. I think on my bike I did the other side first. But
okay, we'll see you next clip.
We'll start in that middle right there. So you're going to find a bunch of miscellaneous hardware in your kit. You're going to find these little bolts, and there's washers to go on them. These are the ones that don't have nuts that fit on them. We're going to throw some medium thread locker on them, and I think I got enough on that one for both of them.
Yeah, you just want to drown them.
Just drown them.
Just drown them.
That way, you know, there's no question of whether you got enough if they're drowning in it. So these are going to be for your center bar. These are 10 millimeter. It's easier if you have an extension. Putting this in, it will simplify things a lot. So bring this around. We don't need the ratchet yet because we're just going to hand tighten these in. I lied. This is not a 10 millimeter on these. I believe this is 8 millimeter. No. This goes with the L on the bracket pointed forward, and mount up behind these cables. You'll see 2 holes up here in the bottom of the neck. This lines up with it right there. Yeah, these cables are a little in the way when you start this. But slightly a pain getting these going, but it's not terrible, especially if you do this first. If you put the sidebars in first, this becomes a lot harder all of a sudden. So it will be a little stiff because there hasn't been something in here. But you're just gonna hand start it in there, you know, leave it a little bit loose like that, and then we'll put the other one in. This is gonna, see, that's not so bad at all as long as you do this first. I think Outback Motortek on their website or on their YouTube showing how to install this. They don't do this first. They kind of work their way from one side to the other. We're going to start in the middle. It's a lot easier, trust me. And then we're going to explain the washers to you too, you know, which washers go where. We're going to show you that though. So that's on there. It's loose. We'll come back and tighten that up after we get the sidebars on. But it's much easier if you just stick that in place first. Then you're not trying to fight to sandwich it in between the sidebars. So now you can go ahead and pull these bolts we worked loose earlier. We worked the threads on. These can pull out. And this one back here has a factory spacer. We're going to reuse that. It goes in the exact same place. You know, this is on the right hand side of the bike at the back motor mount. That one goes in the exact same place, which brings me to where do all the other spacers go, because they're all different sizes here. You can see we got 3 different size spacers that come with it, and then you got the factory spacer. So the factory spacer goes right back where it came from, on the back right side. So you take the shortest bolt that came with the kit, and you're going to throw a washer on all of them, and that's going to go at the back with this spacer. Okay, and it's going to go just like that through the bar with the spacer on the back side of the bar. Okay, and then your other spacers are going to be mounted with your shortest spacer is going to be the opposite side over on the left hand side. And then your longest spacer is also going to be on the left hand side.
I thought the short one goes right there.
Your medium spacer goes front here.
Oh yeah, I was wrong. Yep.
So it's important to get those right, or you'll be pulling stuff back apart. And again, these aren't the easiest threads to work. As far as the bolts go, you'll have 2 bolts the same length. They go in the front mounts. Very easy. Shortest one on the right side, and then the next shortest will go on the left side rear. That's it. So yeah, the short spacer again, and second shortest bolt will be on the left side rear. Longest spacer will be left side front. All these will have a washer first, then your crash guard, and then the spacer. So we just set those 2 aside for now until we get to the other side. We leave those bolts in until we get this side done. We'll leave the bolts loose on this side after it's in, but we'll go ahead and yeah, see if these will go in clean. These might not go in clean. That's why I say work those bolts in and out a few times. And we're also going to throw a drop of medium thread locker on these. You've seen enough of that, so I won't show you me putting the drops on, but they're going to be there. So we just get these started. These could be a little stiff. That's why I had worked the other bolts in and out a bunch. And then you might want to take these bolts with the aftermarket kit and work them in and out a couple times. I've had to do that on at least one spot on both bikes. So just don't get discouraged, you know, just take your time, make sure that you're not cross threading, just, you know that it's going to be a little stiff going in. Once you're in a few threads, you know you're there, and don't worry about it being stiff after that. So, and then we're gonna go ahead and turn these in and just leave them a little bit loose, and then we'll be connecting the center bar to this bar and leaving that loose as well. These are going to be most of the way in on this side, but not tight. That way we got a little play to work with to get the other side in place. So again, these are going to be stiff going in because, yeah, unfortunately, you know, between the threading on this motor and the hardware that Outback Motortek supplied with their crash bars, don't get me wrong, they're good crash bars, but the hardware has a little bit to be desired on, you know, the cleanliness of the threading. But you can see it's getting stiff and we're not even halfway in. But that's just how it's going to be. So expect it. So we tighten these in, not quite snug, but just to where there's some play back and forth on this, but not in just a tiny bit of play lateral. So, and then we'll come up here and we're going to install these. And this is obviously going to look better if you put the black bolt in from the face, and you'll have a black washer for the face side, and then the silver and the nylon nut goes on the back. No light Loctite needed with these nylocks. Put these on with the washer on back, and just hand turn that until it stops turning, because we want that to be left loose again so we can have some play to work with the other side. Then after everything's in and we get those motor mounts tightened, then we can come back up here and tighten everything out on our cross brace. So just like that, and there's plenty of wiggle still left in that. That's what we want. And Now we can go on the other side, remove the motor mount bolts, and stick the crash bar on the other side.
So Carl, can you tell me where those spacers went again?
Okay, so again, leaving just a little bit loose. So remember we had a factory spacer on the other side at the back mount. This side is going to be the smallest spacer that came in the kit on the back mount. And the front mount is going to be the largest spacer that came in the kit. And again, the second shortest bolt that came in the kit will be the back mount. And the front mounts are the same size on both sides for the bolt. Okay, so again, you're just tightening these. And again, work your other bolts. Work these in without the bars first, you know, in and out a little bit, because it's going to be snug. So you're just going to get these to where they are just loose enough to have a little bit of lateral movement and some back and forth in the slots there. And then we're going to take our small nuts here.
And do the same thing that we did on the other side.
Yeah, again, these are 8mm hex head, and these, were these a 10?
8mm.
8. These were 8, I think. All these up on the center bar are 8. So, yeah, same thing as the other side. Just work these in. These are going to be a little snug going through their finish on these bars. This one having to thread in, so I'll probably do that with the ratchet a little bit just to speed it up. We'll do this bottom one in, and then again, you're going to have a washer on each side, black washer on the outside, silver washer and lock nut on the inside, top and bottom. So just, yep, same thing as the other side. And again, you're going to leave these just a little bit loose. These will be the last thing you tighten. So first you're going to tighten your motor mount bolts on both sides. These, because as long as you turned them in as far as you could by hand, so where there's just a little play, you can do those last because they're already in place. So then you'll tighten these on the sides, and they'll come back and tighten those up into the neck. And that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and tighten all these in place, and we won't make you watch us turn threads, but we'll show you when it's all done. So when I go to tighten these, remember we lift that loose so they can slide there. I like to push this forward. It gives you just a little more protection before it's stressing your engine mounts. That's part of the reason I like to leave everything loose and then tighten these first. So you just have that little extra give on there for extra protection. So after we tighten our motor mount bolts, we got our 8mm over here. This side is a 10 on the back side of this. So then we just sandwich that in nice and snug. And again, that's a nylock, so it's not coming loose. You know, but we'll go nice and snug for the support. We'll do the same thing over here on the other side. And then after we get these tightened up, then we'll go to the neck and tighten those up. So again, using the extension, so you can get here and tighten up those bolts going into the neck. Careful not to over tighten these and snap them. So I just use a 1/4 inch drive. It helps keep me from over torquing them. There we go. Crash bars installed. What do you think, Cody?
I like them.
Ready to go test them?
Yeah. Go drop it on some dirt.
Yeah, as far as we could find, these were the best crash bars. That's why we went with these. nobody else showed their stuff being tested as far as crash bars go, except for Outback Motortek. Outback Motortek, look them up on YouTube. Pretty much all their bikes they make crash bars for, they do some good extensive testing on them. And the only outfit I've seen that does better doesn't make crash bars, and that's the company we went with first, Skid Plate, which is a Camel ADV. They test the crap out of their stuff too. So yeah, so we're not running the same brand of pretty much anything on our accessories. That's because, you know, it seems like different brands have their different strong points, and so we want the best of whatever we can get for our purposes. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the next video you just watch, you know, some good riding and